Hello, everybody. We have the countdown that just reached 0, which means it's time to begin our session. Before we start, it would be great if you could give me a little confirmation that you hear my voice. If you could just type on the chat box yes, or just a simple hi, hello, anything, just so I know that you are with me, we are connected, you hear my voice, so we can start. I'm just going to give you a few seconds for that little hello message. And we will begin right now. Just a second. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for your confirmation and ready to begin. So as we always do, let's begin with a little bit of housekeeping, if you wish. Let's go ahead and cover our disclaimer so we can begin the session. So disclaimer. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Traditive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in this video is purely for demonstration purposes only, sorry for that, and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. Here we go. So we have the disclaimer taken care of, and as we're about to begin here, you may have seen I was at times I was switching my screen, and I have a trade ready here with the S&P futures. So we're going to talk about this trade in just a minute. I got the light blue line is the entry, then we have a easy to reach target 1, and then a little more demanding target 2, and then a stop order, of course, to protect the position. I'll come back to this in a minute. Let's talk about a few more things you need to know just to make sure that we're in sync. So first of all, www.tradewithufos.com. Very important website here, not only because it is importantly because there is a lot of information in this website that could be of use to you. To be more specific, and very important for you to be aware of, the guide. I always talk about it, and I will always talk about it. Like every tool, you need to understand how the tool works. Often, in many fields in our lives, we are a little, let's call it lazy, when it comes to exploring the guides of the tools that we use, which it's a normal thing nowadays, given the fact that many things are very user-friendly. But in this case, we're talking about risking money in the market, and therefore it is advisable, really advisable, that you get to understand the tool with detail. So 2 options for you to understand the tool with detail. If you like reading manuals, download the PDF files either for 9.5 or 10.0 TradeStation. If reading manuals is not for you, I still recommend you to read it, but if it really is not for you, we have created a series of videos that talk about of the app and things you need to know before you use the app. For example, ready to access and use this app. So this will make sure your TradeStation is ready. This will make sure that you have proper the different ways on how to display the app, and also calibration, which is quite key. Okay. So let's go ahead. And now that we know where is the user guide, let's go ahead and talk about the get-together. So get-together is what we're doing today. And I want to make everybody aware, which probably you are, but in case you're watching this recorded, there is a get-together schedule for the whole month of January. All the sessions have been scheduled, including the session. Today is short-term, January 9. Tomorrow, a session on long-term trading. Term, and from time to time we'll be doing sharpening sessions as well, where I had a great amount of fun last Sunday when we spent like 2 hours plus together talking about trend and calibration, and it was I think it was pretty powerful and hopefully very useful to you as well. So we'll be doing all of that. Second website I would like to share with you, which is a Facebook URL. It's our Facebook page. Okay, and again, this is important because in the Facebook page, we often use the Facebook page to communicate real time with you and share certain pieces of information that could be important. Apart from certain pieces of information, we also have trade examples. So we have a trade example here. Milan, one of our users who is also with us today. How are you, Milan? Uh, Hey, everybody. I am reconnecting here. It seems that I had an internet drop and therefore I lost connection. I am reconnecting right now. So just give me a second. You will see my screen. A second here. You should be able to see my screen very, very quickly. Okay. Let me make sure everything is in the right place. Yes, it seems. Okay. I'm sharing screen. Okay. So it's yeah, it seems that I am having a problem to share my screen. Guys, just give me a second. Bear with me. I will be coming back. I'm not sure if you hear my voice at this moment in time. Okay. Yeah, but it seems that I cannot share your problem, guys. Give me a second. I will be back. Bear with me, please. Sorry for that, guys. Okay, everyone. I believe you should be able to voice and see my screen at this moment. It would be great if you could confirm that fact so we can restart the session normally. And again, sorry for the technical issue here. Yes, perfect. Okay, I think that you see me now. Very good. And by the way, we just got filled on the trade here. Okay, so as you can see, I am in the trade here, and I mean, we'll talk about this in just a second. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of time to maybe take a screenshot earlier, so hopefully you can be also taking advantage of this trade. Okay, but yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, we love technology. Sometimes we can hate it, isn't it? But anyway. Cool. Anyway, so, well, very quick, let me finish what I was doing. I was making this point about the Facebook page, which is very, very important in the sense that, we share many examples here, and these examples could be very useful to you as well, especially if you are planned together, which based on your emails, I know that some of you are. Okay, so I would recommend you to track what our users are doing, because some of our users are very advanced traders, and it could give you very good ideas. Okay, now may not be Facebook fans. Okay, so then maybe LinkedIn could be a better choice for you, and we have exactly the same information in LinkedIn than Facebook. So you can also like us, follow us on LinkedIn, and that way we can be connected. The whole thing, and the reason why I mention all of this, it's being connected. Okay, I want to make sure we are connected, so we can be in sync for whatever you need. Okay, good. So coming back to the presentation here, well, this thing is still not moving much at the moment. Okay, the entry price, Orlando, was 55.82. Okay, 55.82. That was this little group. Okay, that was the entry price. Okay, and this is where it bounced from. This is where we got filled, and we are still waiting to see the progress of this particular trade. Okay, good. Very good. So now, while we allow this trade to keep progressing, let's go back to what I was doing. More things to know about the app. The app is available in the App Store. We have a mix of attendees in the session, like most of the days. Some of you are using the app already because you are subscribed. Some of you are not yet. So if you're not subscribed, you just come in the TradeStation App Store. Let me share with you the URL as well. Put it on your screen. You get into this little box here, you type UFOs, click on the search button, and the moment you click on the search button, you will get the app AutoUFOs. So you can either subscribe with a free trial, which gives you a few days for you to try it on your TradeStation account, or you can subscribe to have a longer term access to the app. And now you need to make a payment of $89 per month to be able to use the app beyond the trial period. Okay, good. Now, by the way, any Forex traders in the room? Because today I would like to do a little bit of Forex trading too. Okay, so this is bouncing now. It seems that we're one tick away from our target. So we are about to reach target 1. Let's see if that's the case. And I was talking about Forex because today, apart from planning trades with futures, which we will, I would also like to explore a little bit of Forex opportunities that may be available out there. And of course, if you are trading Forex, well, you are not using TradeStation, isn't it? Because TradeStation does provide Forex charts, but does not provide Forex execution. Therefore, probably you're using a different broker, and we need to talk about, how to deal with that particular situation. So if you are a Forex trader, would you mind to, in the chat box, type the word Forex, Forex or FX, so I can, kind of quickly identify who are the Forex traders with us today. And later, I will make a few comments on how you may want to combine the AutoUFOs app together with your Forex broker, whichever Forex broker that is, okay? And that way, I'll give you a couple of tips on how to make sure you can make it compatible, and hopefully this way I can help you a little bit in that sense, okay? Because TradeStation provides Forex charts, but not Forex execution, as most of you, I guess, you know. Good. So while I'm waiting for those answers on the chat box, so let me give you a little bit of an explanation of the rationale behind this trade. So right after I re-explain how this trade was planned, we can go ahead and plan more trades following the same type of setup, and hopefully take advantage of those. And we'll do that with futures, but we'll do that with Forex too. Okay, and I would like to play a little bit with the timeframes as well. The other day, I believe it was January 4, that was the last time that we were together doing short-term trading. So, you know, I remember I spent a lot of time doing certain explanations. Today I'm going to be a little more straight to the point. So hopefully we're going to be able to plan a few more trades and hopefully execute a few together as well. But at the same time, you know, I do want to give you a little bit of a summary one more time to make sure everybody's in sync, okay? So, so first of all, in this workspace that I'm using here with TradeStation, notice I have three components. I have a matrix on the right, which I am using to execute. I have a chart here in the left upper section of my screen, which is a 2-minute time frame. It's a very small time frame. I also have a 15-minute time frame of the same market, S&P 500 futures below. And when it comes to tools, on the 2-minute time frame, I have activated our beautiful AutoUFOs here. As you can see, the flying saucers. And the bottom part of the chart, I don't have any AutoUFOs. I could, but I haven't. The only thing I have running is a simple, very simple indicator, which is a moving average. It's a moving average exponential. And the setting I'm using is the one that comes by default with TradeStation. I don't want to overcomplicate this. Is 9, so I'm just plotting that moving average. Okay. The other day on Sunday, we did a sharpening session talking about trend. We talked about how to understand trend. I recognize some of your names, and therefore, you know, I'm aware that some of you were with us that day, and hopefully the session helped you. But as a super quick summary of what we learned on Sunday, I will say that the trend could add odds in your favor. Under certain circumstances that we discussed on that sharpening session on Sunday, you still need to have room for the trend to expand. If you get in the trend, but it's too late, then it doesn't add odds of success. It is probably going to hurt you more than help you. But if you are entering in a trend, in a good place in that trending market, meaning that there is still room for the trend to keep expanding, and this, you know it thanks to the UFOs, and as you can see, I got no red UFO anywhere close, nor in the 2-minute time frame, nor in the 15-minute time frame. So in one hand, you know, this trend could continue. You have some odds in your favor for the trend to continue, and this is what I'm trying to catch. I'm trying to catch the trend in this particular trade. Now, the other reason why I have a moving average in the 15-minute time frame below, it's because my UFOs are identifying unfilled orders in the market waiting to get filled. That's what my UFO is identifying. But apart from the unfilled orders that are already in the market that my AutoUFO app have identified for me, I am also interested in new unfilled orders to enter the market, unfilled orders that have not showed up yet. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And in this case, a moving average may represent that, because we have many, I mean, thousands of computers, maybe millions of computers somewhere in the world that are placing orders to buy and sell based on mathematical calculations, and moving averages is one of them. So basically what I'm trying to say is that this trade that I got in at 25.82 is a trade that has in my favor unfilled orders identified by the AutoUFOs. This trade also has odds in my favor because I have a moving average which is representing a trend, and the trend has room to continue expanding because I don't have red UFOs anywhere close. And on top of that, the moving average is also identifying potential new unfilled orders to enter the market that have not entered the market yet. So all of this is appealing for a trader, and that's why I'm in the trade. Now, of course, you know, you always want to be disciplined and mechanical, and even though the trade may look good, you could be stopped out. right? And therefore, you need to have a stop in place to protect your risk. So if you lose, it's never going to be big, and you will be able, as a trader, you will be able to survive that. You don't never want to trust your plan so much where now you think you're going to be right for sure, and therefore you don't protect your risk. Okay, so what did I do here? Well, I just shared with you the rationale of why I am in this trade. And what else did I do? I have my targets and my stops to take profits in case I'm right, but also make sure my loss is small in case I'm wrong. Okay, and that's how I will manage my probability, my risk, and my reward. Very simple, and it took no time. And Orlando is asking a question here. Let me get your question on the screen, Orlando. The solid green UFO below, any thoughts about it versus the one you picked? Well, the reason why I picked the one I picked is because the one I picked is lining up. Okay, it's lining up exactly, precisely with the moving average. And again, why is this important? Because the moving average may represent on-field orders to be added after you entered the trade. Okay, and again, it's all about probabilities. Nothing is a sure thing in trading. It's all about probabilities and discipline and risk and reward, and that's what makes you a trader. So that's why I picked that one. The 2577 is a dark UFO. Okay, and you have on-field orders waiting to get filled there, and could certainly be subject for a profitable trade. But in this case, based on the plan that I expressed the other day, my rules are very simple. I will not be overthinking. I will not be, planning to take every single trade in the market. I will only take the trades that meet the conditions I described a few minutes ago, and that's why I picked that UFO and not the one below. Okay, and of course, and this is trading. I could certainly be stopped out on this UFO, and then the one below that you pointed at, Orlando, may work. Actually, on Sunday as well, we talked about calibration, and we saw that, depending on the calibration parameters, 60-70% of those UFOs work well. So, you could certainly take another trade with the bottom UFO, but that would be a different plan, which is not the plan I am executing today. Okay, if your plan, Orlando, implies to use the one below, then it would be 100% valid to use the one below. Okay. But in my case, I am in the trade already. Okay, and this is one of those. How do you feel about this trade? Because let's talk about the mindset too. Let's take advantage that we are together to talk about the mindset. Because when you trade at home, normally you are not together. You are on your own, isn't it? And if you are on your own, many times it means that you are isolated. And when you're isolated, automatically we are human. And therefore, many times, what happens is that we start thinking about things, we start feeling things, and in this case, what many of you may be feeling, and feel free to elaborate deeper in the comments box. What you may be feeling is that this thing is coming in, coming out, got as close to our target to one tick, and then came back down, and then back up again, and it's challenging our mindset. Some of you may be tempted to close the trade and forget about it. And again, if you have a rule for time stops, okay, time stops means that you have a rule where if after a certain time the trade didn't work, you get out. So if you have a rule for time stops, it's okay for you to get out, but what you don't want to do is to get out just because you feel like it, just because emotions are challenging you. Is that making sense? So we gotta remain in the discipline side and follow the plan. So it's whatever your plan says. My plan, and we may evolve the plan as we go and we get better at doing all of this, but my plan is to follow what my rule says. And my rule says that I will take profits, partial profit when I get to my target one, and then I will take my final profit when I get to target two. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait and be disciplined. Okay, and sometimes this could be frustrating because you get close to your target and you don't get filled. Sometimes this will be the way to get paid professionally and get paid decently, because if you close the trade ahead of time, out of emotions, many times, then you will miss the whole move, and that will be even more frustrating than ending up with a small loss. Okay, so my plan at this moment in time is to keep it very simple and just let the trade happen. And if I'm right, I'll profit more. And if I'm wrong, I'll lose less. And that is it. That's simple. Okay? Orlando, I'm reading your comments. I love your thoughts. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share on the main screen. So Orlando says, taking the trade before the market opens, is that okay? Yeah, because if we end up being stopped out, you will be stopped out very quickly. And if you end up being right, you will get to your target very quickly as well. Is that making sense? So, not a big deal. Okay, even though I get your second comment in the bottom part of the screen when you say my hands are sweating now. Is that making sense? So I get it. But again, the only thing that we are doing by trading at this time of the day is to speeding up the process of whatever was going to happen anyway, but it's going to happen a little sooner, which is good because if we're right, we'll take a profit sooner. If we're wrong, we'll take a loss sooner, and therefore we'll have time to plan an extra. Is that making sense? So let the market do its thing. Okay, that's it. Let the market do its thing. Okay, that's our bet. Good. So again, Rationale, and we are 5 minutes away from the market opening. Okay, so got it, Orlando. I'm looking at your comments. Very, very good. So so let's market do its thing. Okay, I have a few more comments here before I keep going. Yep. Yeah, very good. So we have a few of the Forex traders here in the room. I was reading your comments here. Very good. Very, very good. Perfect. So, so guys, since we're five minutes away from the market opening, less time in a trade equal less stress. Yes, absolutely, Milan. Absolutely, absolutely. So since the market is going to open in just like 4 minutes from now, I'm not going to change market now because we're going to miss what's going to happen at the beginning at the open, and I think whatever happens, either for a profit or for a loss. So we just hit target 1, so we are out of our target 1. Okay, so now we cannot lose anymore in this trade. So whatever happens. Okay, and also, the market is gonna open in 4 minutes from now. This candle is gonna close in less than a minute. So what would be very cool is that a green UFO forms right there in front of us. Okay, and if a green UFO was to form right in front of us, I would move the target right below the green UFO. And then not only I would not be able to lose money in this trade anymore, but on top of that, I would be ready to take a bigger profit. Okay? That would be ideal. Okay. Of course, I don't have the power to control the market, so I'm going to be humble and respect what happens and be disciplined and follow my plan. So my plan involves not moving the stop, so I'm going to do nothing. I'm just going to do nothing and wait for whatever happens. If new UFOs form, then I will do something. If no UFOs form, then I'll do nothing and just wait to hit my target, because in this trade, remember, I'm not losing more. I already collected $87.5 of profit, and now if I get stopped out, I will lose 87.5. So worst case, I will end up break even. So I will do nothing. Orlando, I can see that you have moved your stop plus 12.5. Okay, so you move your stop to break even plus 12.5. So in your case, if it goes against you, you will end up making 87 plus 12. Sorry, you will end up making 87 plus 12.5. So you will make, let's call it close to $100. So all good, not a crazy thing to be done. But at the same time, it could be that you would be stopped out just by a little bit, and then you miss the whole move. So everything got pros and cons. So again, as long as it's a rule that you have, it's fine. Okay, what I would like to avoid or help you to have you move the stop now, because you would be concerned, on missing on a profit or something like that. Okay, so again, the plan of this trade was to either lose that smaller amount, what that was $175, or get the greatest profit. Okay, and right now we still have $87.5 at risk, as you can see in red color. Okay, but at the same time, we already collected $87.5. So if I made 87.5 and now I would lose 87.5 if I get stopped out, really my trade is for break even, no matter what. And in my plan, I do nothing. Okay, so again, 100% right what you have done, Orlando, as long as it's based on rules. Okay, wonderful, perfect. So let the trade happen. The market is going to open now in just a few seconds, isn't it? So yeah, 10 seconds away from market opening. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, it may be a little bit of a delay with my voice because of the delay needed for Facebook broadcast and so on. So if that's the case, you know, you may see the market opening a little afterwards. But anyway, the market just opened. Okay, so now we have a little more movement here. Let's see what is the new tonic developed today. I'm just going to wait 1 or 2 candles to see what happens. Every candle is 2 minutes, so we'll just wait a few minutes. In this trade, I'll be making a few comments to also help you develop the right mindset apart from the right set of techniques when we trade. And the moment this trade has progressed a little better, either in our favor or against us, then we'll leave the trade alone and we'll jump into the Forex markets, we'll jump into the futures markets and plan other trades. And you know, around 30 minutes from now, we will conclude the session because today is and then that's it. And then we'll go home, and hopefully today's session would have been useful to you. Okay, so we'll just wait a little bit. I mean, there, as you can see here in the upper left, there are a few people. Highs are probably acting a little bit as resistance. Some people are taking profits at those points, etc., etc. But remember, okay, always remember the reason why we got into the trade and what's the ultimate goal. We are entering a trending market. There is room for the trend to expand unless a big player comes in with new red UFOs that will be shown on the screen a few minutes from now, and then, you know, we would be wrong and the market would go against us. But trend is going to continue, and the new players entering the market are going to add because of the moving average on top of the on-field orders that we already had. Well, then we will end up with a nice profit a few minutes from now. Okay, so we are just going to let the trade play out, and whatever happens, and we're going to be 100% disciplined. Okay, you can see now on the screen the green UFO disappeared. From means is that we hit the inside circle, which is where the greatest quantity of on-field orders were, and therefore the algo is telling you that there is not much odds of success in that place on the chart anymore, and that's why the UFO has been taken out of the screen in real time, so you don't get into a new trade. Okay, but it's okay for you to stay in the trade because we entered when the UFO was still on the screen, and therefore we are just following the plan. We are professional traders. We are disciplined people. We are disciplined professionals. Okay, so we're just letting the trade do its thing. Yes, Fernando, good comment. Let me put this on the mainstream as well. There is an indicator on TradeStation called time remaining in bar, and this would show you out of the 2 minutes per candle that we have, you know, how much more time is left in that candle before a new candle forms. Okay, and this could be useful, especially if you one of your roles is to trail your stop, and you like to trail your stop based on you know, the low of the prior candle or new UFOs that form, and therefore you want to monitor your charts every now and then, every time a new candle forms. So that indicator could be useful to you because it is telling you about you know, the amount of time remaining for the next candle. Okay, so you guys feel free to experience with it. If you have not seen the indicator, you can just add that in TradeStation. It's a standard indicator. It comes for free with TradeStation, so it could be a great addition. To me, in a 2-minute time frame, it's not really that useful because really 2 minutes is only 2 minutes, so there's little time to wait. But if you were to trade a little bit of a higher time frame, okay, if you were to trade, I don't know, maybe the 15-minute time frame, the 1 hour time frame, things like that, so it could be handy for you to know that, you know, you still got 10 minutes before the new candle, and maybe you have time to go grab a coffee, you know, so things like that. So just convenience, if you wish. Okay, so anyway, so let's see. So it seems that the remaining on-field orders in the UFO worked very well to push price back up. So now we are again hitting that point, this pivot high here on the chart, where, you know, many traders around the world, many market analysts may look at this as a resistance, and therefore they may have sell orders, or they may inject sell orders. Okay, but again, we know what we know, which is we are in a trending environment. The trend is up. The average is acting as new on-field orders kicking in, at least potentially, and there is room for the trend to expand because we have no red UFOs. Okay, so what do? Nothing. We just wait. Okay, that's what we do. We act professionally. Okay, and today, since we had the opportunity to catch this trade from the very beginning, on adding a lot of information, if you wish, on sharing thoughts on the mindset of a trader that hopefully help you not only to to understand how to use the UFOs or an application of the UFOs and all of this, but also how to kind of maybe if I use the word behave is a little too strong, but it's kind of behave, right? It's kind of like understanding how to behave once you are in a trade and you are on your own, and you may feel that isolation that traders we feel when we're in front of our computer on our own at home or in a Starbucks. It doesn't matter, okay? And we are there, okay? So let's see what happens here. It seems that the market is really willing to take out that high, and if that's the case, it's kind of a little bit of a nice confirmation that strength is kicking in. Maybe we'll have more people jump on board, and what I would really love to see is really, and I have no control over it, so I'm going to be disciplined, but I would really love to see, I'm just sharing my thought with you guys, I would really love to see a new green UFO form as we take out this high, if that will end up the case. Okay, so we have, we are taking out the high now. Very good. We have one more minute to go until the next candle will form. So if if the market continues moving in that way, in that particular fashion, I believe we may have a green UFO form. Again, the algo behind the scenes will be processing the information as the new candle begin in less than a minute, and we'll see if we have an opportunity to move our stop. If we have an opportunity to move the stop, we'll be glad to do so, and then I'll start planning trades with other markets. If not, we'll stick with the trade, guys, because I want to go over the whole process with you guys, and hopefully we hit our targets before we conclude the session. And if not, at least I would leave you with specific instructions on how to do so. Okay. Again, notice the challenge of the mindset of a trader, isn't it? I know that we are a mix of people here in the room. Some of you may have traded for longer, some of you for less long. But the challenge is that, we were in a very, very bullish move here, and next thing you know, we got this long wick down, this shooting star, and now it's like this market is coming back down, okay? So, a little bit of challenge is a little bit of indecision today as the day begins, okay? The market is not really pushing clearly in the direction we want, but still, we have all the elements we discussed in our favor. The only thing that was removed from us is the original green UFO, which is a bad thing, but at the same time, we have already taken profits at 1-to-1. So if we end up being stopped out, this trade cannot lose. Okay, so we'll just follow with the plan. That's it. That's what it is. Team Trader says your second target is a mechanical one. Well, I would love the second target to be a red UFO, but I didn't have a red UFO, and at the same time, I wanted to place a target not too far. To be honest, my target is not a mechanical one because I just wanted a target that was close enough so we can take the whole trade together during this 1 hour. So, if I look at, let me show you this. If I look at, so this is the 2-minute time frame. If I look at the 5-minute time frame, one sec here. So if I look at the 5-minute time frame, okay, I'm having a little difficulty to switch time frame with translation for whatever reason. Here we go. So if you look at the 5-minute time frame, I got no red UFOs. If I look at the 15-minute time frame, I have no red UFOs either. Okay. If I look at the 60-minute time frame, Okay, so it seems that my computer is using a lot of the CPU power, because of the streaming video I'm doing. So it's running a little slow. But anyway, you can see there is a green UFO, a red UFO, but it's quite far. If I look at the 4-hour time frame, which is loading now, you will see there is another red UFO, but it's even further. Is that making sense? So basically what I did, is just to pick this high on the left, okay? And that high on the left was kind of close enough. So if I plot it in a 2-minute time frame, so hopefully we'll be able to achieve that target while we are together in the session, okay? So to be honest, if you were to tell me that you don't plan to take profits at this target and you plan to keep trailing stop, and allowing this thing to keep going and going and going, I would say it makes sense because we are in a trending environment. There is room for the trend to expand. So again, you could do that, okay? But in my case, I try to find a little bit of a balance here and just give you a target that is good enough, but at the same time, also good enough for a short-term trade where we stay in the trade together for this 1 hour, okay? Very good question, Tim. Simone, hi, Jose. Would be different at the moving average in the same chart you are trading instead of a different time frame? Yes, but at the same time, yes and no, because what's going to happen is that, I would say this is agreed. There are different schools of thoughts when it comes to trading and investing out there. But I think that all schools of thought would agree that traders should use multiple timeframes. And if you were, because, it's like, and I used this analogy before, it's like you do an x-ray of a shoulder as a doctor. Normally, you don't take a picture from one angle, you look at different angles. So trading is kind of the same. When you assess a market condition, it could be quite useful to be looking at different timeframes to have a better understanding. And when it comes to trending environments, the higher the time frame, normally the more long-lasting the trend. So again, the trend by itself means nothing unless you understand your UFOs, so you know if the trend has room to continue expanding, as we said on Sunday. But at the same time, if you were to look at the trend in the 2-minute time frame, where now you are looking at a shorter-term trend, very short-term trend, and it may have the tendency to last less just because it's a short-term time frame. And that basically, it's right. It would be okay for you to do, but it would have an impact on your reward to risk ratio. So notice what I'm trying to do here. I'm willing to end up break-even in this trade in exchange to make $587.5, right? In other words, this trade is a fantastic reward to risk ratio. It's like a 4 or 5 to 1. And it's going to be almost impossible to get a 4 or 5 to 1 unless you benefit from a longer trend. Let me say that again, from a longer term trend power. Is that making sense? The 2-minute trend power may not be enough to push this market all the way to 25.92, where the 15-minute or the 60-minute trend power may be strong enough to do so. Is that making sense, everyone? So that's why I am combining, in this case, the 15-minute and the 2. I'm trying to merge elements from different time frames to help my trade. In one hand, have a higher probability. In the other hand, have precision on catching my entry. And on the other hand, maximize my profit to have a good reward to risk ratio relationship. And in order to do so, I am mixing the time frames. And now notice how much fluctuation I am allowing this thing to happen. Okay, I'm allowing this thing went up to, I don't know, earlier I think we were hitting like $200 per contract. Now it's back to 62. A minute ago it was minus 12. I'm just allowing this thing to vibrate and do whatever it has to do with the ultimate goal to reach that longer term target, which, well, I should not call it longer term, that 15-minute term trend power target. I just added many words there, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. Is that making sense? So I'm trying to mix and match different pieces from different time frames to get power from different angles and therefore add odds in my favor. Okay. Here we go. So I have another question here from Orlando. Orlando said, we have the solid green UFO available. You should take a trade there if it gets there. Again, the answer, Orlando, it depends on your rules. Based on my rules, I would not. Why? Because the moving average, okay, the moving average, which I'm trying to use as an extra, as a tool that potentially adds more on-field orders that are not in the market yet, that moving average is currently pointing at, let me put my cursor on top of it. 1 second here. So that moving average is currently pointing at 2582.69. So 2582.69 is higher than 2577, which is this UFO, right? Which is this UFO. In other words, so I would be buying below the moving average, which could be the beginning of a downtrend. So again, if your plan implies doing so, yes, but this is not aligned with the rules I shared with you at the beginning. So the short answer is I'm not going to do that. That's it. And we just hit our exit point here, guys, and this trade ended up at break-even. So notice how interesting this has been. So a few minutes ago, you guys commented on the chat box that your palms were sweating because we're taking a trade right at the market open. Notice how, I mean, if you don't mind me to use a strong word, let me use a strong word, if that's okay. Notice how boring the price action with capital letters has been, okay? What a boring beginning of the day. This is not how normally the market starts. Is that making sense? Normally the market starts and we have a clear movement towards certain direction. Well, today it has not been the case, okay? So we missed on reaching our final target here, but you know what? I would say good job, because nothing happened and we didn't lose money, and actually the trade ended up moving in the opposite direction. So we didn't have, we were not able to benefit from the scenario I was describing before, where it was looking like the trend was going to continue because there was nothing to stop it. There were no red UFOs either, but you know, it seems that some institutions stepped in and reversed the market. Now, it became a very boring market condition because there was a fight. So whoever had the power to create this movement to the downside had to fight, and here is the red UFO now confirming that. You see that? So whoever had the power, whichever market player that was big enough to reverse that trending condition at the moment in time, had to fight big time against all the elements that we described before. Right? So we had the trend in our favor, on-field orders in the market, new on-field orders kicking in thanks to the moving average, all that stuff. And finally, we ended up, you know, experiencing a market movement in the opposite direction. But we never ended up either losing money or being hurt. So, you know, I think that it's a good job. And if you have been with me on the trade, I would like to congratulate you. Okay, good job. Orlando, in your case, you ended up a little more profitable than me because you took your stop at 12.5, so you made 12.5 plus 87, so double Orlando in that sense. Okay, but again, let me add my comment from before one more time just to reinforce. The key is that rule of moving stop versus not moving stop, that needs to be a rule. Okay, and that rule could be out of your preference, it's okay, but it has to be a rule, so every time you do it the same. Okay, good. Yeah, Mark, I hear you, my friend. FOMC today, so that could be the reason as well why, you know, the beginning part of the day was a little bit in the boring side, you know, and not the most exciting beginning part of the day. So that could be the reason. I mean, you never know. You know, we wish we had full visibility of what the institutions are doing, all of them, but we don't. So what we do as traders is to stack odds in our favor. We add the UFOs, we add a few rules around it, and that's how we end up. That's how we end up excelling in the marketplace. Okay, good. So guys, good experience, I would say, in this beginning session of the day. We still have 10 minutes left. So what I would like to do is during the following 10 minutes, I would like to look at a couple more trades, at least to plan a couple more executions, or at least one, depending on what the market is giving us. And that way we can conclude the session, and you guys will be able to replicate what we just did together here. Hopefully you can replicate that on your own by following certain instructions and making it your plan. Okay, guys? Last day as well, on January 4, I was playing with two workspaces, the UFO EMA Lab workspace, and I was also playing with another workspace that was the UFOs Fibo Lab for the Fibonacci lovers. Okay, today, since we had this whole experience of from beginning to the end of a specific trade with the moving averages, so if that's okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be I will continue working on those moving averages and hopefully plan one or two trades before we go, and everything will be planned on the averages. And for the Fibonacci lovers out there, well, next time maybe we can begin the session instead of with the moving averages. Maybe we can start the session with the Fibonacci's and also put rules around it, so you guys can experience different ways on how to trade with the AutoUFOs, and on top of that, develop rules around it so you become mechanical, professional, and disciplined. Okay, guys? Anyway, so let's switch to Forex. Okay, so I would like to switch to Forex, as I said before. So I'm just going to load the euro. Okay, so here's the euro. Very good. So I have a 2-minute time frame of the euro loading here on the top, 15-minute time frame of the euro in the bottom. Now, the euro I'm charting at the moment is a Forex market. In other words, it's a spot Forex market. This instrument does not trade in an exchange. You trade currencies with the banks if you trade spot Forex, and therefore, unless you trade with not only a good but an amazing broker, I would really recommend you to stay out of the 2-minute time frame and use a little bit of a bigger time frame, because again, there is no centralized exchange like futures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 15-minute time frame for a lower time frame, and instead of 15-minute time frame below, in the below part, I'm just going to be looking at the 4-hour time frame. Okay, I'm going to be looking at two time frames, which are, let's call it standard. Okay, standard time frames and relevant. 4-hour time frame below, 15-minute time frame above, and kind of replicate the same thing I did earlier with the S&P futures with the 15 and the 2, but now go ahead and do it with the 4-hour time frame and the 15-minute time frame with the euro. Okay, and so the first thing that you can see here is that we have a moving average. Price is clearly trading above, so we have an uptrend, okay, on the euro in the 4-hour time frame. And again, we do not care about the trend just because it's the trend. We don't want to be biased this way. But if the trend had room to continue expanding, and that was to be proven by the UFOs, well, then that would become relevant and useful information for us. So what am I going to do? Well, I want to shrink my chart here as much as possible to get to see what's on the left as much as possible. And in this 15-minute time frame of the euro, it seems that I got nothing above. What if I look at the 60-minute time frame for the euro? Okay, so I'm changing 15-minute time frame, and we will see the 60-minute time frame in a second coming up. So the moment we see the 60-minute time frame, and we can see there is a red UFO right there. Okay, so I want to be aware of that, because even though the trend is up, the trend may conclude its traveling when it gets to this red UFO. So I want to be well aware of this blue line that represents the red UFO. What about the 4-hour time frame? So I'm going to look at the 4-hour time frame. Okay, and notice I'm just moving from time frame to time frame using standard time frames. Okay, so I use that 15, then 60, now 4 hours. You could certainly be more creative than that, but there is no need to be more creative than that. So here is where my blue line is. And if I go back to my 15-minute time frame, where basically this is where we are right now. We are inside of a red UFO in the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so even though the trend is up, well, based on what we learned on Sunday, I am not very, very confident that this trend is likely to continue going higher. Okay, I mean, something that we discussed on Sunday when we talked about the trend is that in an uptrend, sometimes institutions will remove the red on-field orders, and therefore those red UFOs may go away. Well, then if that's the case, you know what? Then the trend will continue. But I would rather trade in an environment where I don't have the red UFOs, so then I don't need to worry about the on-field orders to be removed. I'd rather trade in a market where there are no on-field orders. That would give me more odds. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, instead of the euro, I'm going to switch to the Great British Pound and see what this market is providing for us. Okay, let me go ahead and link. I want to link, let's make it blue color. I want to link the window on the top and the window in the bottom. So I'm going to select blue color for the linking of the windows. So that way when I type Great British Pound above, it will be also Great British Pound below. Good. So very good. So Great British Pound is also in an uptrend, you know, so very similar setup compared to the euro. Now let's take a look at the UFOs, at the red one. So I'm switching to the 60. Well, that I'm liking it. It looks like the 60-minute time frame red UFO is further away than the euro. And what about the 4-hour time frame? So if I look at the 4-hour time frame, oh, look at that, I got nothing in between, right? So there is no red UFO in the 15. There is a red UFO in the 60, but it's far away. And there is no red UFO in the 2-hour time frame. So this is now exciting because now we have a market condition where we may have a continuation of the trend, and there is room for the trend to expand. So what do we have here? The moving average is located, as you can see here in purple color, at 127.49. That's the purple color figure is what we're looking for, which is the value of the moving average line, 127.49, where my UFO here, it's located, sorry guys, my UFO here, sorry guys, again, I'm having a little problem with the streaming of the video. My computer is acting a little slow here. So I got 127.48 and I got 127.39. So in other words, that moving average happens to fall within the moving average. So if the pound was to fall and get into this green UFO, it could make a lot of sense to buy, expecting the trend to continue, expecting on-field orders to kick in as a product of having a moving average lining up. And remember, the moving average could behave as a new set of on-field orders entering the market after you enter the market, while the green UFO represents on-field orders that are already in the market, right? So we are adding, again, multiple pieces from different places, from different time frames, all together to have a higher probability entry point. Okay, so that's what we have here. Okay, and therefore, you know, a trade that you could certainly plan is to set. Let me go ahead and write it. Sorry, not target, entry. Let me go ahead and write it for you. So an entry price around this region, which is. Let me go ahead and click on the box. So if I click on the box, it tells me beginning price 127.48, end price 127.40. So 48.5 is actually 49. So you know what? I'm just gonna make it 49, 127.49. That will be your entry price. Then we'll talk about the stop in a minute. Okay, stop price in a minute. Okay, but now careful. We are trading Forex. This is a very, very important note for you guys trading Forex. Okay, we are trading Forex, which means that you are using a different platform, which is not TradeStation, to place your orders. You may have a little bit of a difference in price, and most importantly, okay, different brokers may have a little bit of a different price because there is no centralized exchange. But most importantly, when you get a chart of Forex, the chart of Forex represents the bid price of Forex, which the bid price is the price at which sellers sell. So for me to get my buying price, what I need is to chart the ask, not the bid, but the ask. So how do I get the ask? Well, I'm going to type GBPUSD.A, and if I type GBPUSD.A, this will load the ask chart of the Great British Pound, and I will take a look at this box one more time. And when I look at this box, notice it says beginning price 127.50. Okay, so the beginning price is 127.50, even though the bid price, if I go back to GBPUSD without the A, okay, if I go back to GBPUSD without the A, that's the bid price. Well, that one was showing 127.495, but the ask price says 50. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make sure I type 50 so I don't miss the trade. Is that making sense, everybody? So I had to quickly switch. Okay, this is a little note for you guys, you know, that you trade Forex, so you need to be aware of that, okay? So then you have the stop price, okay? And for the stop price, of course, you sell, so the bid price is the right price for you to look at because you sell at the bid. So that's 127.40. So initially, we are talking about a 10, okay? We are talking about a 10 pip risk in this particular trade. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, 127.40. Now, just as an extra little precaution here, and also with futures is less needed to do what I'm about to do, but with spot Forex, because there is no centralized exchange, it's always healthy to be a little extra skeptical, okay, just in case, you know, the candles in your trading platform are slightly different than the candles in a different trading platform because there is no centralized exchange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop one time frame. So I'm going to the 5-minute time frame to see if I got more UFOs in that region. And yes, I do. And I have a UFO here where the ending price of this UFO is beginning price, ending price is 127.30. You can see that in the bottom, guys, 127.30. So even though, based on the 15-minute time frame, is looking like the right place for the stop is 127.40, I'm just gonna add extra wiggle room to 30, thanks to observing a lower time frame, just because in the world of Forex there is no centralized exchange, and therefore different brokers may not only give you different price, but some of the candles may look slightly differently, and therefore the UFOs may show a little bit in different places depending on the platform. So to avoid being stopped out and then see price go to my target, but I'm out of the trade after being stopped out, I'm going to add myself a little bit of wiggle room by dropping to a lower time frame. So I am trading the 15-minute time frame, as you have seen. So I am trading the 15-minute time frame, as you have seen, but I added a little bit of wiggle room because it's spot Forex, and we got to be careful because of the nature of spot Forex being a non-centralized market. Okay, guys? And now, where we said that in the 60-minute time frame, that's where we found the first red UFO. So let me plan the target. Okay. So 128.61. So let's make the target to be 128.60. We'll make a final target to be 128.60. Okay, and we'll have a safety target, which is going to be a 1. So that's going to be 127.70, if I'm not mistaken. Let me tell you how I did that. The way I'm just going to use purple color for the targets. Okay. So the way I have calculated that is very simple. From 50 to 30, I got 20 pips of risk. So if I add 20 pips on top of 50, that is 70. So in other words, if I take half of my position out at 70, I remove the risk of the trade and I cannot lose anymore. Okay, and now ideally ready to reach my final target at 128.60, and that would make up for a pretty nice trade. Trading Forex using our very, very simple approach. Everything, 100% of everything I just described, it's all rule-based. There is no subjectivity, there is no thinking. I have just done things following a series of rules that you could decide to use yourself, or you could decide to use a different variation of rules. It's fine. But whatever you do, in order for you to create consistent action, and the only way to have consistent action is to follow rules. Follow rules with discipline. Anyway, guys, we surpassed by 7 minutes the time for the session, guys. I have a last Orlando says, can you elaborate about Forex and currency futures? I have never done Forex and currencies. Sorry to ask. This is a great question. Very good question, Orlando. If that's okay, let's talk about it when we do our sharpening sessions, okay? And so we can have a proper conversation about it. I mean, everything in life got pros and cons. Spot Forex is great, but it has disadvantages. Currency futures is great, but it also has disadvantages, okay? So you need to understand the pros and the cons. So depending on the type of trade that you want to use, then you use the market that is the most convenient, okay? And that's simple in the end. But anyway, here is our trade with the great British pound, and ready to go. It was a pleasure to spend this time with you guys. Delighted to see you. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing long term, and long term doesn't need to be that long term. It'll be longer term. Of course, it's not going to be intraday, but we will be planning on trades that could last a few days, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. We'll see what the market gives us. We'll be dealing with probably mainly options, but we'll be ready to look at other markets as well. Okay. See you tomorrow, my friends. Send your questions, comments. Love spending some time with you here, guys. And now time for all of us to get back to the markets and do our own trading too. So see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take care, guys.